YouTube family. Okay, today I'm standing in our kitchen space, which you actually haven't seen for a really long time. As you know, because so many of you have seen the video, about a year and a half ago, I took building a kitchen for our house here into my own hands. We had originally purchased this house in April of 2021, and this home was completely abandoned, as many of you know the story, but for those who are new to our channel, I thought I would explain quickly kind of where this kitchen kind of came to be and why. So we ordered our dream kitchen, and after almost 18 months, our kitchen that we ordered, all of the parts, the bases, the doors, the hardware, the countertops, everything basically that was structural for the kitchen, which was going to be in our now laundry pantry room, never arrived. And we were getting no estimated date of arrival. And remember, during this time, there was a lot of lockdown happening. A lot of companies were really behind, supply shortages, so many issues. And so I was being so patient. But this house we purchased, sight unseen, had no kitchen. It didn't have a bad kitchen. It didn't have a somewhat livable, just aesthetically terrible kitchen. It literally had no kitchen at all. And the sink that was in that pantry room was actually only about this big, and when you ran the faucet, it ran all down the counter. And so we actually did our dishes in the bathtub for a really long time, utilized barbecue, crock pot, toaster oven, small griddles, sandwich makers, all the things, and tried to make do as long as we could with no full-size appliances and no kitchen. And so when that clearly wasn't going to happen, I got an email saying that the color that I selected for the kitchen was actually discontinued and that I needed to choose between black, red, or just white, which at the time was not what I wanted. I wanted something coastal because we are just moving to Nova Scotia. In hindsight now, I'm so glad that that color never came to be and that cabinet, everything kind of happened the way that it was supposed to, because I was destined to build my own kitchen. So I headed to YouTube and watched as many videos and learned as much as I possibly could on how to build kitchen cabinets, and figured I would make one, and if it was absolutely horrendous, I would abort mission, suck it up, and try to get a kitchen from somewhere else. But my first cabinet turned out amazing, and I loved it, and we were so proud of it. So I kept making more cabinets and designed the space in an even bigger room in the house that was being utilized for absolutely nothing. I'm thinking this was an addition at some point. We just don't exactly know what year this addition was put in. But Philip had a 3 a.m. idea one night while we were working in the original kitchen space that why don't we use this great big space as an eat-in kitchen? And it was the most brilliant idea yet. And one of my favorite renovation that we've done to the house so far is that Philip and I, with our own 2 hands, learned and built our own kitchen together. Island, cabinets, tiled the wall, did the flooring, fixed the walls, absolutely everything you see in this kitchen we built. At the time of building this kitchen, I went with white, and although it looks beautiful white, I think I mentioned in that video that I really didn't forever want a white kitchen, but at that time I was so excited to have a functioning kitchen with a functioning sink and a functioning stove and cupboards to put some of my kitchen things in that I really just couldn't commit to a color. And I really did want to live in this space for quite a while before deciding what the style and characteristics of this kitchen were going to be, because it is the heart of the home. And over the past couple weeks, we've been working on our bathroom renovation and painting some color in some of the rooms in the house finally. This kitchen has just spoke to me, and I just absolutely know that this kitchen needed a splash of green paint. And that is just what I did. So last week, I added a little swatch of paint to the tall pantry here in the kitchen space and stared at it and walked in and out doing our animal chores and all the things from the side door for that whole week and a half, and still loved it. So then I put a little bit of green paint behind me here on one of the cabinets on the front, just a little splotch, and looked at it from the different light perspective coming into the room and loved it after several days. And then yesterday I got really brave and I started trimming out the rest of the drawers, doors, and cabinets and side panels in the island in this space. And when you first put paint on the walls, the color doesn't always look like it's going to when it dries. So last night, for just a split second, I thought about aborting mission because it was going on very bright green. But as we woke up this morning and came into the kitchen space, the first coat on a few small spots that I was just toying with had dried, and I knew I had made the right choice. So I am going to be painting the rest of the cabinets today. I'm hoping by the end of today, I can get the rest of these painted, at least get the full first coat on, and then I can show you what it's going to look like. But I'm really excited about this. One thing I want to mention that I actually was brought up by one of our YouTube family members is that make sure that whatever you're doing to your home is something that you enjoy. It isn't just a trend that's happening right now, because if you're always trying to keep up with the trends, your home will never really feel like you. And so I hope that I can show you in these videos that maybe some of the things I do are trendy, but not everything is super on trend. And I do use things that maybe have gone out of style, or maybe hopefully will come back one day, who knows. But ultimately, the decisions that I'm making in our home are what I think is best for my family. So if you prefer white kitchens are dreamy, and I absolutely love white kitchens. But something is telling me that this kitchen needs some color. And with our kind of like dull weather we get every once in a while here in Nova Scotia, I think it is just the right choice for us to add some cheer and some character to this space and add the green paint. And again, it's all your personal preference. So if you prefer wood cabinets, white cabinets, a completely different color that I'm painting in your own home, then that's totally good for you. And I hope that your space is exactly what you hope it would be. But I'm going to go with this full force, and I think it's gonna be pretty dreamy in the end. So what I've done is I have washed down the cabinets really, really well, because we have had this kitchen in here for about a year and a bit now. And of course we use our kitchen, we live in this kitchen, which was the elements that we were thinking of putting in this kitchen meant what we really wanted to focus on was a functioning kitchen. An aesthetic kitchen is great, but if it doesn't function, then there's no point. And so I wanted to have lots of storage, even though we like to keep things pretty minimal for things in the kitchen. We don't like things to get out of hand. I still wanted to have lots of storage. And then I wanted to have enough counter space. I wanted to have my sink for washing my dishes facing the eat-in part. I know that some people don't like to have their sink in their island. And if I had a window that was central in the back here, I would have wanted it looking out at my beautiful property. But my beautiful property is more out the front and on the side. And so for me, I get to look out to that front window where the horses and stuff are while I'm doing dishes and things, rather than facing the wall. So that was my decision for that. And I obviously wanted to have a much larger sink than what I had in the pantry room. And then we wanted the wood stove in here because that is a heating element for this large space here in the house. And that's so cozy in the winter. It still needs to be finished getting its installation, so we haven't actually used that yet. So that's why you can see there's some bags and things in there to separate some of the air coming in until that's finished. But we wanted to have certain elements of this room to make sure that this was completely functional. So I'm working right now on trimming the hood vent to get it close to the ceiling. Sunlight just went down, but it will shine again in a moment for you to be able to see how beautiful this color is in the daylight. And I'm working on painting the fronts of all the cabinets. So I'm just taking the hardware off and painting the cabinets and sides where I've taken off the hardware. And then once that one's done, I'm going to the next one. I'm just trying not to get ahead of myself and do too much all at once and just like tear out everything in this kitchen right now when we have guests coming. But I just really wanted to get some fresh paint on the cabinets, and I just think it's gonna look so dreamy. Again, I was planning on doing this regardless of company coming, but just, you know, just like me and my creative brain, even though we have guests coming, here I am painting my kitchen. But hey, that's just me. So I love, 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 love the green color with the back tile. And I love the green with the wood that we have here, the chevron or herringbone island that we have. And then I just have one of our dining room chairs over here just so I could kind of see what it would look like with the color. But the other side of the kitchen here is our eat-in, and it looks absolutely phenomenal in here as a whole. So I'll show you at the end what it looks like all together. And then my cute little shelf I showed you last week that I've added to this space. It's just kind of coming together. Just love it with the beams. And I think it's just so earthy and so organic, totally us. And it's going to match all the things that I want to add in here. So I'm currently painting the fronts and the side here of the island. Made a little bit of mess with some dusting of sandpaper. So what I've done, so I am painting all of the green, and I'm going to be keeping my gold hardware on there. I like the gold hardware. There's no reason for me to change it. And you can see I have wet paint going on here. I'm painting the doors, and I'm painting, this is the face frames of the cabinets. I'll be painting those as well, but I'm gonna do that inside once I open up everything. I don't need to take all the hinges off because the style of hinges I have, I can access everything without getting any paint on any of the hinges. And this side, we have the floor to ceiling pantry. So I'm just working on painting that right now as well. So the insides of the cabinet, I'm going to be keeping white once I get everything done in here. I'm just painting the doors with the green and the face frames with the green. And then inside's all gonna stay white for now. And then I have this sort of like foam inserts that I have just to be able to easily wipe out things when you have like pots and pan drawers and things like that. You can see I have all the drawers and stuff all lined with this. It just makes things easier to keep things cleaner. And then as you saw in a previous video, I painted the handles on my stove with the metallic gold. And I get tons of questions all the time on if this is held up. And I'll be completely honest with you, this has held up really, really well, but I have sprayed this again once since I painted it. And it was about a year after I did it that I washed them all down and did another coat on it. And the reason that was is because I made the mistake of wiping the knobs with a magic eraser one day when I was using a sponge, and I didn't realize that it was one of those like Mr. Clean magic erasers, which I no longer use because I like to use all mostly eco things in the kitchen now, and I don't really like those that much. But I used it as a sponge once and wiped it, and it turned it a little bit of a discolored color. It gave it sort of like a greeny blue tinge to it when I did it. So if you're going to do this, make sure you prime it with a spray primer and then do the metallic gold and then put a clear coat on it, and don't use the magic eraser. So I made progress. I'm working on some of the face frames. My first coat is done on here. And then my first coats are done up on the hood vent over there. Still needs to obviously have more coats. And then I have the doors and all of the drawers here on my pantry side all kind of figured out. Now, my question is, inside this box area, I want to leave the back white, I think, I don't know. But inside on the sidewalls here, should that be green and then just the back white? Should the whole thing in there be green? Should the whole thing just stay white and just have the face frames green like I've done there? Let me know. So currently that's what it's looking like right now, but I will update you when I get everything else finished. So while I'm waiting for some paint to dry in the kitchen, I wanted to share some news with you that was kind of happening to me in my personal life. I know a lot we share with you what's going on with the renovations, things with the animals and our children, and just different like family milestones, but something exciting is happening for me next week, and I just was really excited. I wanted to shout it from the rooftops and tell all of our YouTube family about what's happening for me in my life next week. So next week, I have some really special visitors coming to spend the week with Philip and I and the boys. And they've actually never met Philip and the boys. And I haven't seen them since I think I was about 14. They might correct me on the age, but I think I was about 14 years old when I saw them last in person. So growing up, I grew up with my mom and the man that raised me and a couple of siblings. And I found out when I was 19 that the man that raised me was actually not my biological father. I found it by mistake. I was away at college and I was all by myself, living on my own in a brand new city that I'd never been to, and, you know, trying to navigate college for the first time when I discovered. So it was very devastating for me at that time to find out that, you know, I had not been told the truth all these years over who my father was. And I immediately was able to, just from process of elimination and some sneaky research, was able to figure out who my biological dad was. And in doing that, I determined and figured out that my godmother, that I had some of my most fondest childhood memories of when I was a kid, was actually my biological aunt. And she is coming next week with her husband to come and spend the week with us and to meet my boys and my Philip. And I'm just so proud and honored that she's going to get to come here and see this beautiful life that I've created for myself and Philip and the boys, and all this work that we've put into everything we've been doing. I'm just like incredibly excited that she's coming to visit. So I'm working on a few things around the house. I know they're coming here to see us, not the house, but I'm working on a few things just to kind of like tally up a few of the renovations that we've been working on, because as you know, while we're filming and doing a few things, you always have a few loose ends, especially when you're doing a full house renovation. But I'm so excited, and I just wanted to share with you that that is something that's happening with me next week, and I couldn't be more proud and more excited.
In just a moment's time, we are going to do something so special here. For the first time, we're going to let the ponies out on the paddock. Tace and I have been working all morning to finish up all the fence boards that go all the way around. And we're going to let them out. Oh, this is so exciting. I can't wait. They don't even have any idea what's about to happen.
Do you think they're even going to notice when we open the gate? I'm just not going to say anything and then wait and see how long it takes them to realize that the gate's not closed for the first time. Because if you remember, when the weather is like not great, they stay in the round pen. And when this last 2 weeks or so, since all the snow's been gone, we haven't allowed them to go in the front. They've just been in the round pen. And that's because it's been really, really wet down there. And we want the grass to grow in. And so we thought if they trample the only spot that they have, over the first 2 weeks of spring here, they're not going to have any grass. And we've been working on this. This is not the last of their space. This is just the next area. We're working in sections because, as you know, fencing is costly. It's also time consuming, but we want to keep like clearing more land and giving them more and more and more space over our acreage. But this is the most room they're ever gonna have had. You ready?
Oh yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
I bet it'll take a few minutes to notice that it's even open.
Who's gonna notice first?
I'd say for sure.
Are you going in?
We'll have to move their trough and everything.
Yeah.
And then we get to make our hay manger next for them out there. Lennon, you trying to get some grass?
Come on, London. Let's see. Come on. It's not working.
Like, we have to put a strap around the thing so they don't get out. And now it's open and they don't even notice. And they're eating grass through the bars.
Oh gosh.
Hudson, look.
You guys are free.
Take a board.
Come on.
Come on, let's go out together.
Come on.
We can go out.
Yeah, come on.
Look. Come on.
Come on, nuts.
Look how Mom's going.
Come on.
Come on. It's a fun day. You look for London like a London. Can we go?
Come on.
Come on. Let's go. It's not a test. Come on.
Come on.
Hudson. Lennon, come on. Yeah, there you go.
Yay, come on out.
Or just 2 feet out.
It's just as good.
Good job. There you go. So much room for activities. So good. Just stay 2 feet from the gate, like. They're eating the forbidden grass they haven't been able to reach from being through the bars.
I got a lot of progress done today in the kitchen and I'm really happy with the way that it's turning out. I love the color of the beams with the green. Look at how gorgeous this is turning out to be. Let me know what you think of the green. I hope that later on tonight I can get the second coat on so I can get all the hardware and everything back on. I am going to clear coat the kitchen, but I want to wait a couple of days before I put the clear coat on once I get all of my coats of paint on. And I still need to do second coats and a little bit more of my face frames, but it shouldn't take me that much longer. Overall, so far, I'm incredibly happy with it.